So hey guys, me answer you guys will give you guys Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. So the first match will be taking place at the Stamford Bridge at February 25th, 2020, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The second leg will be taking place March 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time at the Allianz Arena. All right. So let's go ahead and go on to the head-to-head record. So obviously, as you can tell, the head-to-head record is about even. Obviously, the most memorable game is probably the Champions League final, where everyone was enthusiastic, and it was a big win for Chelsea, and they got their first Champions League title. Now, I made an error right here, guys. It's supposed to be Chelsea lost against Bayern Munich. I think I corrected it, but I need to reload. I mean, yeah. You know what? I'll just do it for you. I'll just close right here and present. Hopefully it should be fixed, right? Let me check if that got fixed. Oh, whoa, sorry. Yeah, this is fixed. Okay. So, interestingly enough, Bayern Munich got the revenge of the UEFA Super Cup where they won against Chelsea in penalties, and that's where Chelsea lost, So anyways, as far as the European form is concerned, Bayern Munich finished first in a relatively easy group, Group B, made good work, and I believe they're one of the few teams. Yep, they are the only team in the Champions League to have recorded 18 points, 6 wins. That's incredible. That's amazing. And honestly, looking at the statistics, they are attempting to score the most. They score the most goals, I believe. And they have the top goal scorer with them as well, Robert Lewandowski, who I believe will be crucial for Bayern Munich's success this year in the Champions League. As for Chelsea finished second in a relatively difficult group. It was a relatively difficult group. They just about squeezed their way to second. And honestly, it's a miracle how it was looking like they may not even finish second at the beginning of the season. Everyone was I remember people were saying that they could maybe finish third, but Frank Lampard proved everyone wrong, and he proved out to be a very good. And Bayern Munich last season in the Champions League, Bayern Munich lost to Liverpool round of 16, which is pretty disappointing considering they lost to Liverpool at their own home stadium. And of course, Chelsea did not compete last season in the Champions League. Rather, they competed in the Europa League, and they won their title there, giving them the right to play in this competition. All right. So as far as their domestic form is concerned, Bayern Munich are currently first in the league with 46 points. It should be worth noting, though, that Bayern Munich have a very tall task and that they have to defend their title with RB Leipzig, Borussia Dortmund on very close. It's a very, very close. Bayern Munich really going to have to, they have a real challenge this year to win the Bundesliga title. And then, of course, there's Borussia Mönchengladbach. You can't also forget to mention Bayer Leverkusen, that could pull off. I generally think the big two competitors for the league, though, are Borussia Dortmund and RB Leipzig. All right. As for Chelsea are currently fourth in the league with 41 points. And Chelsea, both of these teams have been kind of disappointing as far as their league is concerned. They have unexpectedly lost sometimes, and they have won in very good occasions as well. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the biggest strengths and weaknesses. All right. So, of course, the Bayern Munich's biggest strength is Lewandowski. You saw how I put in all caps, Lewandowski, who's already scored 10 goals this season, guys. 10 goals. I believe this is his record all-time high at all for this season. And, man, he's on incredible form, man. I think if Bayern Munich are to get further in this competition, they're going to have to rely upon Lewandowski. You can also make a counter-argument. This is also a weakness, too, is that when Lewandowski does not perform, where's the goals coming from? You could also make that counter-argument as one of the weaknesses. However, I didn't put that as my weaknesses. Primarily, the biggest weakness I would say is probably their defense. Their defense is a bit questionable sometimes. I've noticed that the defense, remember, guys, they conceded 5 goals against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. That was a really bad performance, and that got Niko Kovac. I believe Niko Kovac resigned from that performance. He didn't get sacked, I believe. And this back line is pretty aging. Manuel Neuer is no longer at his peak. Not to mention Boateng isn't as good. Boateng isn't at his prime as well. And the defense is aging. You can tell the defense is not as good as they can be. However, it should be worth mentioning that they do have a really good they really do have a good midfielder, as in Joshua Kimmich, who has been really good for this Bayern team. And of course, Philippe Coutinho has been great as well. And Chelsea as well, they also, their strengths is probably their young team. I really like how Frank Lampard is using the young prospects of the team, like such as Tammy Abraham, Christian Pulisic, these young people. And I think this is giving the team the young vibe. And it showed against Ajax, and like they were pretty much even, like you saw on the at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea and Ajax were pretty much kind of like the same. It's just Chelsea were at their peak, I believe. And lately, after winter break, I would say Chelsea kind of cooled off. Chelsea really haven't done as well as they should be doing. And I've noticed their biggest weakness is there's really no center forward. There's really no center forward. I don't think Chelsea attack is really clicking. You see with the absence of Tammy Abraham, Christian Pulisic, this is very detrimental for them. And I have no idea how this can do against one of the best offensive teams. This surely can give them so much trouble. And honestly, Chelsea are in a whole world of pain right here, guys. And I really hate to say this, but there is a potential possibility Chelsea could even lose this embarrassingly. I'm trying to say this from an objective standpoint. You guys know I don't support Bayern or Chelsea. I'm a neutral here, and I support FC Barcelona. But looking at Chelsea, the fact that they have been so inconsistent, the fact that they couldn't even beat teams, such average teams like Southampton, Newcastle, they should be able to beat these teams. Rather, they let them beat them. And it's just, their home form has not been great. Away from home, though, they have actually been pretty decent. They have been pretty decent away from home, as evidenced by the fact that they won 1-0 against Ajax. That was a really big away performance. I would say it was a really good away game from them. Of course, there was another away game as well. I believe it was Burnley versus Chelsea, where Christian Pulisic scored a hat trick. Very good. And Bayern Munich as well. They're the 7-2 thrashing at Tottenham Hotspur. They can take that to commemoration. Of course, they can also look into the fact that they defeated Dortmund 4-0. I mean, they know how to defeat English teams, and the fact that they destroyed Tottenham by combined 10 goals spells danger for Chelsea. Chelsea are in a whole world of pain right here, And the fact that Bayern Munich and simply Lewandowski has really just been outstanding this season, And the fact that they've attempted the most goals, and, they've scored the most goals, and they've been leading the charts possession. They've been everything, but you could argue they have been the best team in the Champions League so far. Like, everyone's saying Liverpool has been the best team. Liverpool is probably the favorite to win the title. But as far as the Champions League is concerned, they're the most consistent. They haven't lost any game. In fact, they haven't even drawn any game. They've won all 6 games. Now, albeit there were some, their group was pretty easy. Let's be real, the group was pretty easy. But it is impressive that the fact that they beat Tottenham by 10 goals. They scored 10 and only conceded 3. That in itself is very, very good. And considering they're going against a very young English team, I'm sure this can spell danger for them. And I'm probably writing Chelsea off a little bit. I do think Chelsea I am maybe being a little too harsh. However, I just think that this is going to be very troublesome for Chelsea. And obviously, Bayern Munich are going to really, really need Lewandowski to be his top form. And people are asking the questions is, can Lewandowski carry this team to the Champions League further on? Because, well, the way it stands, they're one of the favorites to lift the title. You could genuinely make an argument why they're the second best team to win. In fact, I would go as far as saying that they're probably the favorites just behind Liverpool. I would say, Bayern Munich have a very good chance to lift the title. I would go as far as saying that. I know I'm not supposed to predict that early yet. I know it's still early, but just looking at this Bayern team is very, very good and is very troublesome. All right. Which leads to my score prediction. I am going to go with Bayern Munich to win this. I think you guys could get the vibe already. I was going to go with Bayern Munich anyway to win this. And I'm going to go with a 3-1 win at Stamford Bridge and a 2-1 narrow win at the Allianz Arena. The reason why I feel like I have a feeling that the Chelsea will really they're going to make the away game kind of difficult for Bayern, and I just have a feeling the home their home stadium. I don't know. You know, I could be completely wrong about the score prediction, aggregate score. I could be completely wrong. However, this is the way I see it, and where I think this is going to be the very likeliest scenario. The fact they've already scored 3 away goals and they have a home leg next, I think, is very good. Very good indeed. So I am going to go with Bayern Munich to win this. And for the key players to look out for, I would say for Bayern Munich, of course, Robert Lewandowski, you got to look out for him. I would also look at Thomas Müller. I think Thomas Müller has been definitely been better at these last couple of days. Perhaps you can maybe make an argument for I would also like to say you could also make maybe an argument for Joshua Kimmich. You know, I think he'll be a very incredible, important player for them as well. And as for Chelsea, you know, Chelsea, I would keep an eye on. I would also keep an eye on. It's tough. Chelsea, it's really tough. Probably Jorginho, I would keep an eye on. Willian, he could always create something, and probably. I'm not sure if Christian Pulisic is going to be back for this. I'm not exactly sure when he will be back. Because if he is back, because I think Chelsea are going to desperately need him. Although even if they have him, I'm not sure that'll make much of a difference. But I think Christian Pulisic is definitely a person to look out for. And so, yeah, guys, I'm going with Bayern Munich to win this one, guys, by a comfortable aggregate score 5-2. All right. Bayern Munich could even score more than 5. They could even score more than 5, but I'm going for my money a 5-2 aggregate score, and meaning that Chelsea will lose both home and away. I'm sorry, I just feel like Bayern Munich just outclassed Chelsea in every single department. I just think that Frank Lampard has a very, very difficult job upon his hand. I feel like he should be more focused on just trying to secure Champions League spot rather than trying to make a deep run in the Champions League. And yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. So remember, guys, tomorrow I'll be giving you guys my Barcelona versus Napoli match preview. And guess what, guys? I will also be giving you guys Barcelona versus Napoli. I'll also be giving you guys A-Bar versus Barcelona. And Barcelona versus A-Bar. Before we go into further ado, as for the Champions League match previews for the Barcelona game, I'm going to only do one. I'm not going to do home and away. We'll see if there's really any need to. I mean, if there's really much I can talk about, but for the most part, I probably won't do that. I'd rather maybe do like things to look out for in the second leg, you know, maybe that kind of thing, but not really like a match preview style. I'll try to change it up a little bit. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. Peace out.